because they were still aborting daughters. They wanted sons.
You're saying Koreans were aborting daughters?
Yeah.
Because I heard that was a thing in China, but...
Yeah. Well, China, because they had a one-child policy.
One-child policy.
In Korea, there was like, even up to the 90s, there was a preference for boys over girls.
Welcome, beautiful people, to the Lost and Local podcast. We're Adam.
And Hannah.
Two Korean citizens who grew up abroad and are figuring out life, I guess, in Korea and abroad.
Join us as we share stories and our honest perspective on what it means to be lost and local.
All right. Well, we've got a spicy one today. Not really spicy, but...
It can get spicy.
Yeah, it's all about family.
Ooh.
Very interesting topic. Hopefully we don't go down the rabbit hole of offending people.
I know. Sorry, 엄마, 아빠.
All right, well, let's do it. So we've got a little icebreaker, and I will ask the first question. What stereotypes do people have about your birth order, and how do you feel about these stereotypes?
Oh, so many. So as an only child, a lot of people will say only children are socially awkward. They're spoiled. They're very like in their own world. And to some extent, I think all humans are spoiled and self-centered. And I've seen like, maybe it's unique to Korean culture, but like the first kid gets the most attention. And like there's a lot of expectations on the first kid. They get to do a lot of things that the younger kid doesn't get to do. So I've seen like older children who were way more spoiled than I was. Oh. And they got their first pick of everything. And their younger sibling always got like the hand-me-downs, like
hand-me-down clothes.
Yeah.
And then they also have usually most of the pictures are taken with the oldest child, and then the parents get lazy and then they do less and less pictures.
Yeah. But like as an only child, my parents never did that for me. Like I got hand-me-downs from their friends' kids.
Oh, okay.
So I wasn't raised like that. I never got things I just asked for randomly. Like it was always like, did you earn your way to it? Like, did you do your chores? Did you save up your allowance? Did you do these things? And so when I bought my like friends' birthday presents, it was out of my own allowance. Like,
oh wow.
So if I didn't budget correctly, I couldn't buy a present for my friends. And so I don't think my parents raised me that way. But oftentimes they're like, oh, Hannah, you're like really spoiled. Because I had a room to myself my whole life. Like I never shared a room. I shared a room with my parents for a little bit, but like after second grade, I never shared a room until boarding school. But maybe because of boarding school, I'm not your typical only child. Because
you did have to interact and be with a lot of people from boarding school on.
Yeah, I've had like 20 something roommates in my life.
Yeah, that is true. You have a more of a unique only child experience.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Yeah. But a lot of people tell me that they think I have a younger brother.
Oh,
that's the
so
vibe
you come
I give
across
off
as like the older sibling.
Older sibling, but also like someone who like keeps people in line.
Like edgy, scary part
like
of Hannah.
I don't play. And they're like, oh, do you have a younger brother? And I'm like, oh, I'm only child. Like, but I was in a all guys dorm for a really long time.
Wait, what?
They just switched it from an all guys dorm to like, so the first 2 years there were only 3 girls in the entire dorm.
Being in the boys dorm, was this in Korea?
Yeah,
when you were in junior high or middle school?
No, high school.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So
it was very traumatizing.
You guys were outnumbered?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought usually it's the other way around.
For boarding school? No, boarding school had a lot of guys.
Really?
I mean, there was an all guys dorm and an all girls dorm. The all girls dorm stayed that way for a couple years. Oh. The all guys dorm, they started putting in more girls, but we were always outnumbered.
Oh.
Yeah.
I get that's
So
Bad
maybe
for the
that's
boys, good for the girls.
so maybe that's where the like older sister to a younger brother vibe comes from.
Okay.
A lot of the kids who were from Seoul, because we were in Daejeon, they would go home on the weekends. So they would play sports and then they would like just go home straight from there. But I would stay in the dorm usually like all year round. So I got to hang out with dorm staff and dorm kids a lot more than the other dorm people.
Okay. Wow.
So I basically kind of had siblings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then even before you went to, I guess, when you were in China for that period of time,
Mhm.
you were around a lot of kids too. People your age?
I was.
Okay.
I didn't have to share
At
stuff.
that time.
Yeah.
That's true.
One thing I do acknowledge about the stereotype of being an only child is I really have very strict boundaries. And I think that's something that only children are really strict about. Because you don't have a sibling just coming into the room and like turning off the lights. Like that doesn't happen.
So when you mean by strict boundaries, what do you mean? What does that look like? What do you mean?
So when I say like when someone's being annoying and I say stop and they don't stop, I'm just like, what is wrong with you? Like, why aren't you stopping? I told you stop. Because like when I tell my parents stop, they'll stop, right? But if you have a younger sibling, they're not gonna stop. They're gonna just be annoying.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So
interesting.
in that way, I can see that I don't get along with other people as well. Because I'm just like, I've communicated my boundaries. I don't understand why you're violating them. But people with siblings, it's always been violated.
Yeah.
So they're just like, this is normal.
That's funny. Wow. Yeah. I didn't think of it that way. Working with youth, I did notice the little quirks of only children.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for sure. Inevitably, in all my church experiences of working with youth, we always had the few that were only children. Now that I think about it, I think the quirkiness is more homeschooled than it was only children.
Oh dear, yeah.
It's only children because they are socialized, generally socialized, because probably parents are more understanding of the fact that they're only children, so they really want them to get socialized. But homeschool kids don't have as much socialization.
Yeah. So
I feel like maybe there is a little bit more of a disadvantage being homeschooled in terms of just getting into society and learning how to. So okay, wow, okay. But I remember you did say something to me about being an only child, because some people who are only children lament that they don't have siblings, or they kind of grow up feeling like there is a disadvantage to them. But what did you say about yourself being an only child?
I really liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I only wanted an older sibling. I didn't want a younger one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if I couldn't have an older sibling, I was like, I don't want any siblings. But I was jealous of the fact that, because whenever I moved, like we moved every like 6 years, I would start fresh, like from zero.
Okay, that's kind of tough.
Yeah, but like people with siblings, they would at least have someone to eat lunch with the first week of school. And then of course the older sibling ditches the younger sibling. But still, like there was something about like they're a unit and they can do this together and they can like be mad at their parents together, and that just sort of like camaraderie like I didn't have. And I think that's why I was so attracted to team sports. So I never had that, and I was always starting fresh. But if you play something like soccer, almost every country loves soccer except for the US.
Except for the US. The athletes that can't get into football, basketball, or baseball will play soccer.
Hey, no, we have some talented
At least
people
in the States back in my day. Maybe soccer is making the inroads now with MLS and stuff like that. But
there's like a fan base, but they're usually like immigrants,
okay.
second gen that are really into soccer. But anyway, the stereotype against only children are really annoyed, but then I can't deny it because to some extent it is true. And like you said, you can tell with some kids.
So is it something that generally when you meet people, unless it's brought up or they ask, you don't generally will tell people I'm an only child? Is it something that you kind of want to like keep close?
Oh, not really. Yeah. it's like a compliment when someone's like, oh, you seem like you have a younger brother. And I'm like, oh,
Oh,
thank
okay.
you. But I'm
Okay.
actually the only child.
Or like, oh, you're not that awkward when we talk to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What
Mm.
about you, Adam?
Yeah. So for me, I am one of six, but I am technically the youngest child.
Mm.
I say technically because I was adopted and I was the youngest of five, and then we did adopt a Korean sister that's not biological to me. I don't talk about it much just because I like to keep her life private out of her respecting her. But she was older than me whenever we adopted her.
Oh.
The stereotype generally is the youngest child is a spoiled one.
We're both
And
spoiled.
yeah, they're spoiled and the rules are not as strict.
Yeah.
However, I'll caveat this a little bit because my mom, bless her heart, she was raised in the late 40s, early 50s because she was born in 1940. So she had a very old fashioned upbringing. She's one of five children.
Oh.
And she's the second oldest, but she did have a good upbringing by her parents who raised her well. One of the things I think that she copied with them is that, well, this is how your older brother and sisters were raised, and this is how I'm going to raise you.
Oh.
So she made it a point not to usually give an exception to the rule because I was the youngest.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that would drive me crazy because a lot of times they were much older than me, most of them, except my youngest biological to my mom's sister. So I would be like, well, they're from a different generation. This is a different time. So that would kind of be.
Wait, what's the age
frustrating.
gap between you and your oldest sibling?
I actually don't know. I forget. I think my oldest sibling is 63 years old.
So like 10 years.
12 years. And then another sibling, 62. I do have one that's 7 years older than me. So that's the closest to me.
Yeah.
7, 9, 11, and 12 years older.
When you're younger, that is a huge age gap.
It's a pretty big gap.
Yeah.
I did get away with more stuff though. and you know how like when you grow up, you don't really, the world that we have is as a child is the world that it's the only world that you have. So you have no relation to understand anything. But in hindsight, when I look back at my life, if I wanted a toy or if I wanted something, I generally would get it for Christmas or birthdays. And but the caveat is that I took care of my toys.
Oh, nice.
Like I was really good at that, and I entertained myself really well because I was an introvert. So give me some Matchbox cars or some action figures, I could spend 4 or 5 hours just entertaining myself.
Wow. So you weren't the annoying younger brother who like puts your fart in someone's face or like.
I don't know because I don't think I was, but I guess my older siblings, a few of them, shout out to them because they do watch our podcast.
Oh,
but I'm not sure. I think for the most part, I was a pretty good angelic Adam.
Please leave a comment if you're an older sibling to Adam.
But yeah, I think the youngest child does get some benefits to it though after it's all said and done.
Talking about sibling orders, I was kind of interested in us exploring family expectations and how people view daughters versus son in Korean culture versus like the culture in the States and kind of just exploring that.
Yeah. I think we both have a unique perspective because you grew up under the Korean expectation. I grew up under the westernized United States version of it.
Yeah.
I feel like for you, being the only child, that's a little bit more of a burden on your shoulder, huh? For expectations.
Yes and no.
Oh, really?
So I think because I'm an only child and the idea is that traditionally, if you have a daughter, you're sending her when she gets married. Like you're sending her out of the house. Maybe because of that, and I'm an only child, like my parents made sure that they had like retirement funds, that they took care of their own retirement. And they kept telling me, even when I was in middle school, like, you're never going to have to worry about supporting us.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think it's also like the generation that they're in. They're the last generation to need to like live with their parents, to finally financially support their parents. Because my grandparents' age, they didn't think about retirement. It was just have a lot of kids and the kids will take care of you.
Sure.
But that kind of ended with my parents. And my parents, both sides, really needed to take care of their own parents financially for a really long time. So I think they were like, "Oh, we don't want to put this kind of pressure on Hannah." So they were always like, "Don't worry about us. We're going to figure out retirement." And I'm really thankful because Korean missionaries from their generation, actually most of them didn't have.
Some type of retirement fund.
Yeah, a lot of missionaries from America already had that. Like their churches and their mission organizations
Okay.
already thought through all those things. They like help them buy a house or like an apartment so that they can come back every like 7 years for sabbatical. So all the American missionaries were taken care of, but all the Korean missionaries weren't.
Oh.
And when you actually come back from the mission field, you're in this weird limbo. Like you've done ministry for 20, 30 years, but most churches don't want to put you as a pastor.
Okay.
Because you haven't gone up the hierarchy.
Yeah.
From youth pastor like up. So they're like,
yeah.
"Oh, like I guess you are a part of our church, but we don't have a position for you."
Yeah.
Like, so they're like in this weird limbo. And my parents had seen that. We don't want that.
Wow.
We're going to be financially independent. We're going to think through how to do things. So in that way, I'm not your typical Korean, but also I think Koreans in my age group aren't worried about supporting their parents.
Oh, okay.
So it's like cultural, but also like generational.
So since you're Korean, even though I understand it a little bit, why don't you fill in our audience with the whole Korean expectation of taking care of parents, etc. Like usually isn't the general expectation, at least back in the day, a generation before my generation at least, it would be the oldest child or
Oldest
technically
son.
the oldest son.
Yeah.
That would be responsible, right?
For living with his parents. So his wife would have to like live with her in-laws.
Yeah. So when the parents get older, they would move into the oldest sons.
No, when they got married.
Oh.
They would just all live together.
Oh, okay.
But that's like
Kind
really
of
old
gone
school.
away. Yeah,
really old school. Like my grandma's generation. And then
mm.
starting with my mom's generation, I would say like 60-40, 60% they punga means like separating households, and 40% would live with their in-laws because their in-laws were either sick or they weren't financially independent and they really did rely on their kids. And I guess it worked back in the day because the inheritance would also go to the first son, the eldest son. So they're getting the inheritance, but they're also expected to take care of their parents. And then it got kind of messy because inheritance laws changed in Korea, and like now I've heard people who have to pay more taxes than what they inherit.
Yeah, I've heard that too, where I'm not entirely sure how it works in the States, but whenever you get an inheritance, they tax you pretty high in Korea, which is kind of insane.
Yeah.
It's really
like really high.
I mean, you're already grieving the loss of said parent, and then they're like, "Oh, well, we're going to take 40 or 20, 30% of that money that your parents saved up." And
I don't think it's a percentage. I think they have some calculation and they have a final amount that you have to pay.
Oh, okay.
And oftentimes it's more than the amount that you inherited, which
that's messed up.
You're just like, how is the math working then? But
yeah.
I think they're like trying to keep people from having generational wealth, which it's very curious to me.
Because that's definitely a thing in the States.
I know, right? That's how like millionaires are billionaires. But yeah, so that's like my parents' generation. And then my generation, almost no one lives with their in-laws or their parents. But I have started seeing in the States where like the guy starts living with the girl's family. It's like the opposite
Okay.
to save money.
Yeah, and you know what I think too is that even though back in the day the oldest son, regardless of where he was in the pecking order of birth order,
Mm-hmm.
that has gone away. And I feel like a lot of parents these days, maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of them look to the daughters to be the
Yeah.
more responsible ones.
Yeah. So that, I think that became a thing during COVID
Mm.
because all the sons were like oblivious in like making hospital appointments, testing appointments. They weren't very considerate or supportive. And all these daughters were like waking up early to find a hospital appointment slot for their parents and like taking care to not get exposed so that they could meet their parents every week. Like even Hyojin, right? Hyojin and her mom were doing that too during COVID for her grandparents.
Yeah, they were definitely helping out. I mean,
Yeah.
Hyojin does have one uncle and four. There's three sisters and an uncle to her grandparents.
Yeah.
But the uncle does provide a lot for them. But and I think in the everyday interacting with said grandparents, it's more the daughters.
The care. Yeah.
Yeah.
Emotional and like physical care is more towards the daughters. So after COVID, the tides turned and people were like, what's the point of having a son? Like once they're married, they're their family. He's in their family. He's not our family anymore. And daughters are kind of like, they stay with you even when they get married. Like that was the switch in perspective. And another interesting thing is, even up to when I was born in the 90s, they would not tell people the gender of the baby because they were still aborting daughters. They wanted sons.
You're saying Koreans were aborting daughters? Because I heard that was a thing in China, but
yeah. Well, China, because they had a one-child policy.
One-child policy.
In Korea, there was like, even up to the 90s, there was a preference for boys over girls.
Oh, wow.
So they like, even to my parents, they wouldn't tell the gender. And there was this like campaign where they're like, 열 아들 딸 하나 안 부럽다. I don't know the actual phrasing, but they were like, one daughter is better than 10 sons. And they're trying to like kind of do this propaganda movement.
Oh.
And now that no one wants to have kids, I heard they're like, they tell people the gender of the baby.
So when you say they, you're saying the hospital?
Yeah.
Oh, but if the parents inquired, the hospital would still not disclose
Up
the
to
gender?
a certain year. I forget what year.
Wow, that's crazy.
But now, because nobody has kids, they're like happy with whatever. They're like, daughter, son, like just give us a kid. Because so many people are going through IVF and having a really hard time.
Speaking of IVF, you can, if you have the money, you can technically request to have a male or female daughter.
Oh, with IVF.
With IVF, which is kind of crazy.
I think in Korea you can't.
Maybe not.
Yeah. But I'm sure they already probably know, right?
Yeah.
When it's fertilized.
Yeah, there's that kind of technology. I don't know how that works, but
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it is changing. Korea's shifting for sure.
Yeah, because I think even the most part when I talk to people who are my age down who do have children and they have a daughter first, they're usually pretty pleased that their oldest child is a daughter.
Yeah.
Because the sons kind of are a little fickle and they maybe don't take that responsibility as much.
But why?
But that's a stereotype. Not everyone's like that.
Why did that happen?
I don't know. Yeah. But guys do take a while to mature.
Ugh. Men. Yeah. But what about American culture? Like, were there different expectations for you versus your sisters?
I think because when I did enter into Korean culture at the age of 20 and then started learning some of the things that in terms of expectations of caring for your parents as they get older, it was definitely a pretty much culture shock from probably even my mom's generation and her parents' generation. There wasn't any tradition that would have the parents take care of their grandparents and the grandparents live with them. For example, my mom's mom my grandmother on my adopted side, she did stay at a nice place. She stayed at a they don't call it nursing homes anymore. It's like not elderly daycare, but elderly housing
Oh,
type of.
okay.
Gosh, I'm totally
Retirement
forgetting.
homes?
Yeah, retirement homes, but
Uh-huh.
they do have staff there that will
Uh-huh.
check in on them. But then they can bring their own furniture and
Oh,
whatever,
nice.
different things like that. But
Okay.
generally, back in the day, especially if you don't have money, they would be sent to nursing homes.
Which is not,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is obviously not the most ideal, especially from the more honor shame Asian culture side, where we just naturally know that we're going to, in some fashion or form, take care of our parents, especially when they get elderly to where they can't take care of themselves.
Yeah.
The idea of sending them off to a nursing home is like, what?
Mm-hmm.
We're probably not going to do that. But I think in America, it was just a common thing, especially back where I'm from, because we had the local nursing homes even in our town.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it depends on each family if they have the funds to be able to send their parents to a nicer retirement area. In general, the Korean culture, at least from comparing the two, I feel like we do a lot better in terms of taking care of our parents when they get older versus America. But I guess it just depends on the family. But there was no like true traditional expectation of said roles for the children. I think in America, the oldest children do get the responsibility of taking care of said, like say, like the older parent, the grandparents, or the parents set up a trust. The people who are part of that trust will generally be the oldest child or the two oldest children to take care of it, of the inheritance and dole it out according to what the parent wanted to be done. It just depends on each family.
There's no like
Yeah.
one size fits all sort of situation.
Yeah, because I worked at the bank and I would help people set up their trust, and I'd help people set up their trust for their family, and there was different ways that the kids would come in and set up like power of attorneys and trustees and stuff like that. So I guess it just depends on each family. But generally, there's no cultural norm for taking care of family.
What about like household chores? Was there a difference between you and your sisters?
My mom was really good at making sure we had responsibilities. So because she grew up in the 40s and 50s where they were just old fashioned in that way, she made sure that all her children had responsibilities. So for example, from a very early age, I had to wash the dishes after meals all the time. It was not a thing to have my mom wash dishes. Like helping set the table, wash the dishes. Of course, you don't like to do those responsibilities. And I remember like going to my cousin's house or my friend's house, and I'd be like wanting to, okay, let's do the dishes. And they would be like, what are you talking about? Like my mom does the dishes. And I'd be like, whoa, mind blown. Like what the heck?
Oh, so even within your peers, your mom was more strict.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And in hindsight, it was good for me because I learned responsibility. And so I do appreciate it now, but I didn't always like it then. Did your mom make you do the dishes after, or did she?
Yeah. So my parents did gender me, like as in like they wouldn't make me carry heavy things.
Okay.
But I had to do the dishes. I had to help my mom with the cooking, but I never got to do the cool stuff. I would always like chop up vegetables.
You'd be like the sous chef of the
and throw out the scraps and like wash dishes while she's cooking.
But that's cute that you're like in the kitchen with your mom.
No, it was not cute.
It wasn't fun at the time.
I was more because I was a tomboy, so I was like, I want to move the water jug, like.
You want to do all the
I want to like bring
things.
in the heavy stuff, but my dad was like, no, I'll do it. You go into the kitchen. And I like hated it. I was like, why?
Cute.
Why do I have to be in the kitchen? Why can't I do other things? I mean, but like now it is really helpful because I've lived on my own for so long and I learned how to cook. I learned how to clean. Like I'm pretty good with like adulting and household chores.
Okay.
So when I see a lot of Korean guys who have lived with their parents their whole lives, who can't do anything, I get so annoyed.
Yeah, because I feel like the expectation in Korea is that if the son is hungry, the mom will make them food.
Yeah, whatever time it is. Yeah, still. A lot of families. I don't want to say everyone, because there are guys who are really good cooks, because they just love cooking.
Yeah.
But there's also a huge population of Korean guys who don't know how to do anything. Like,
because the mom wants to just dote on them.
They don't know that you have to use like antibacterial stuff, like bleach to clean the toilets. Like, they have no idea.
They don't know how to do any household chores.
Yeah, and they're trying to like wash it with hand soap, and I'm just like, what? Have you not done this? And then that's why I'm like, what are you doing in the army? Shouldn't they make you do stuff like this in the army?
In the States, they make you like learn how to clean the bathrooms and toilets, and
That's what I
they
thought.
put you on like different type of responsibility duties, but I'm not sure about that.
I know. So I'm some guys, I'm just like,
Maybe the Korean army doesn't teach them those things. Well, we did have a conversation with a couple of people that went through the army, and the older generation had it tougher for sure.
For sure. So maybe the younger generation isn't going through that. I don't know. But yeah, even my dad, like, he still doesn't know how to cook anything.
Oh, so your mom will make food for him?
Yeah.
When he's hungry?
And when
Does he ever go into the kitchen to make food for himself?
Only ramen. He doesn't know how to make
that's
anything else.
Stereotypical.
Yeah.
That's
And
interesting.
so, and then one day, up to like high school, if I was hungry, he'd be like, "Oh, I'll make some ramen for you." And then once I went into college, it was like a switch. Suddenly he's like, "When's dinner? What's for dinner?
Do something for me?"
Yeah, and I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like, like, I don't
What
know
are
how
you
to
gonna make
suddenly
me?
cook. So
that's cute. That's funny.
then I would have to like look up recipes and just like do something.
Oh,
And
so
and
you
then
were being a good daughter.
I
So-
was.
Oh.
And he was also really picky about food. So I made kimchi jjigae once.
Oh, but he didn't like the way
He
it
didn't
was
like
made.
the way it was made, and he didn't touch it. And I was like, "Appa, you're like so mean." And he's like, "It's not good. Why would I eat it?" And I think it's because he's never cooked, so he doesn't know how it feels to like make something and people don't like it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I go back to the States, my mom did do a lot of cooking because she had a lot of children. She's actually a good cook, but I just wasn't a foodie. But when I go back to the States for years now, since I was in college, I just make my own food.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't want to burden her, and I don't
see.
ask her to. There was one time that she wanted to make a dish, and so I'm like, sure, like we can do that. But and I think it's just a general thing. It's because she's more old fashioned, and then for Korean moms, that's their way to be able to show love, to express love. It's like one of the 5 love languages, right? So to them, like, this is their way to show love. I want to make food for my children.
It's like the 6th love language. It's
Or
not a
like,
traditional
that's true.
love
Yeah,
language.
that's true.
Yeah.
But like my mother-in-law will make food for her son-in-law. I mean, for her son.
Yeah.
And my mom will make food for my brother.
Yeah.
Sometimes, because I only like to eat eggs at home, so I don't expect her to make me eggs every day, and I don't want to
see.
burden her. So I'm not the typical like son that wants that type of stuff.
I see.
Yeah.
So I just need to find a guy who's very health conscious because he'll cook his own food.
Yeah. Yeah. Our first year of marriage, Hyojin and I made the food. And then our second year, we moved down to California, and it was just us two. And for a year or 9 months. And because I was the one working and she wasn't working like a full-time job. She wasn't teaching at all. So she would actually try to do like the typical, okay, when my husband gets home, I'm going to have
traditional
food available,
wife. Yeah.
which is really cute. It was really
Yeah.
fun. But I actually gained weight that year. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. She'd like make all these like traditional chicken and noodles one day, and then she'd make meatloaf and like vegetables another.
Oh.
But I always, if in our marriage, I always do all the dishes, make the food. Very opposite in that way,
I know.
especially for my age generation.
Adam's very supportive.
Yeah.
Very, very supportive.
Yeah, those are the expectations, I guess. There's different expectations, I think, in both cultures. But I think in America, there's not any one set culture because there's so many different cultures and subcultures in America,
Yeah.
depending on the regions, depending on what European country you came from.
Or
and
like if you're an immigrant.
if you're an immigrant, there's just so many different ways. There's no like
Yeah.
strict one set
Mhm.
like Korea.
But I do think that it's nicer to retire in Korea than in the States, because I know a couple people's grandparents who were like so crushed when they lost their driver's license because they were too old and it was too dangerous for them to drive on the road, and then suddenly they lost all freedom. They couldn't do anything on their own. They had to rely on someone to drive them, and like public transportation is not reliable in most places in the States.
Oh yeah, it's non-existent outside of any 2-3 big cities that actually have a decent.
So
that's
it was
true.
almost like they had to go to a retirement home. There was no other option once they couldn't drive. But in Korea, like a lot of people don't drive. A lot of grandparents don't drive, and they just like walk themselves to the hospital.
Yeah.
They don't need as much support, but the kids are still very eager to support them and like take them to the to doctors' visits and stuff like that.
I don't have a car. Yeah, and I don't plan on having a car unless we move outside of the city of Seoul, and Hyojin will probably want us to buy a car then. But yeah, and I think in Korea, because I noticed with my grandparents' in-laws, Korea has a lot of programs set up for in-home care.
Yeah, a lot.
If you want to have someone come in and help clean the house for 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday, it's a really cheap system to have them come in and support them. And then there's all these like elderly centers where they can go and eat food, play games together. It's just really, really nice. It's the
robust.
Support system for elderly people in Korea is so much better.
Yeah. Oh, well, the caveat here is in Gyeonggi, right? Maybe not nationwide.
Because they also have a little like Gwacheon in Gyeonggi. Gyeonggi is pretty affluent, so they have a lot of good programs for elderly people.
But once you go to the more rural areas, not as much support.
Okay.
But in the Seoul, Gyeonggi, that like top part of the country, definitely a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like government supports.
And I think because America is so independent in terms of the mentality, elderly people, they don't want to burden their children and their grandchildren. So they want to be independent, which is understandable. But I think in Korea, at least maybe the older generation, maybe not so much now, but they tend to embrace like, okay, my children want to help me more. Yeah. Like I'll accept it or whatever.
And I'm starting to see that in my own parents. And this is like repentance time, but I'm like so not patient when it comes to technology. And
technology with them.
Yeah.
Like teaching them technology.
Teaching them. I don't even want to call it teaching because my mom never gets it. Like no matter how many times I explain it to her. And yesterday we like kind of fought because she wanted to put a PDF into a Word document. And I'm just like, that doesn't work. Like, you can't do that. And she's like, no, but I will. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. And we just like went back and forth and back and forth. And I was just like, Oma, you could watch a YouTube video and it would explain all of this for you. Why are you asking me this question like 17 times? And she's like, whenever it's something technology based, she's just like, let's ask Hannah. I don't want to Google it. I don't want to try to figure it out. I'm just going to ask Hannah.
That is the thing for the generations now. One person tends to be the IT support for their family.
Oh, is that you?
That's me.
Do you enjoy it though?
I enjoy it.
Oh,
so for example, when Apple came out with FaceTime, I immediately thought, okay, I got to get my mom an iPhone to learn how to FaceTime. But then I'm like, wait a minute, what if she doesn't know how to do it? So I got her an iPad. So we'll FaceTime either on the iPhone or the iPad, and then she'll show me the screen and I'll walk her through it. Like, so you want to do something with your iPad, something's not working, FaceTime me on your iPhone and then hold it, switch the camera, and I'll walk you through it.
My mom doesn't even know how to do that.
But the fact that your mom wanted to do a PDF to a Word document is pretty high tech for most people.
No, she wanted to put an image from a PDF into a Word document.
Yeah.
And I was like, she doesn't get what these things are.
Yeah. I mean, there's ways to do it. It's just a little bit higher. It takes a little bit more higher tech support to know how to walk them through something like that. Does she have like a laptop?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But she doesn't know how to use it either.
Okay.
Like PowerPoint, she didn't know you could put an image in it until last semester. And I was like, how? Like,
because she is going back to school.
She's in school.
Yeah, she's in school. Right,
but also she's been teaching for 20 years. So I was like, did you not use PowerPoint for class?
Well, my teachers used chalk.
But I mean, she was teaching like even 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Okay.
It's pretty recent. Like
yeah.
she should, I don't know. I feel like she should know how to do certain things, but she doesn't. And when they were in China, she was doing it because China's very technologically advanced. And
okay. Maybe she just.
So I think it's like a mindset. It's just like, oh, now that I'm living with my daughter, I'll just make her do all the technology. But for me, it's like, if you were able to function without me, you should be able to do these things.
So when you go off to India, when people hear this, you might be in India. When you contact them, do you FaceTime them? Or
we
do you just
Kakao calls.
Oh, you do Kakao calls. You don't FaceTime.
No.
Oh.
Because when I FaceTime, she'll put the phone next to her ear.
Oh, cute.
And I'm like, no. I'm like, Oma, the point of a FaceTime is for me to see your face, not your ear. And she's like, what do I do? And I'm like, oh my gosh, let's just change it to a voice call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same.
Maybe this is the only child in me. I have no patience.
I'm not always the most patient in IT support, but I try my best.
Oh gosh. Sorry, Amma. Okay, so Adam, I have a question. Did you ever notice a shift in how family obligations were discussed or handled when you moved away to Korea versus when you were living in the States?
When I lived in the States, I moved out my senior year in high school. So I never lived with my mom since then. But because I have a pretty good relationship with my siblings, we were discussing prior to me moving to Korea, probably my mother will move in with Hyojin and I when she gets older. And then the other siblings will do everything else. Like they'll help financially support or they'll do all the other back end stuff. But then we ended up moving to Korea.
Oh, originally that was the plan.
It was kind of like the idea, but the issue is that in my mind, I was thinking, well, my mom's going to have to give up everything she knows in her town. And so for context, her parents were born in or near that area where they grew up and they passed away in that same area.
Wow.
She's born in that area and she has still some of her classmates and she has all her roots in the town in Indiana where she grew up and was raised. I don't think she would have ever moved out to the West Coast. Down the road, I'm not sure what we're going to end up doing. We try to go once a year to visit. Now I do have two siblings that live in the same town.
Oh, okay.
Which wasn't the case in the past.
Oh.
So, and then I have two siblings that live in the same state. So all four of her children live in the state.
That's nice.
So they're in the state of Indiana is the same size as Korea, South Korea. It's literally when comparing Indiana is almost the same landmass as Korea. I'm fortunate that all of my siblings are there. My role in that is to do what I can to visit, but obviously she's not going to move to Korea.
Yeah.
But we did, for example, during COVID, we did live with my mom for 5 months due to some family emergency situation, which was not easy to live back in that town. that was kind of like the idea. But being the youngest, there's never really a huge expectation, unlike you,
That's so nice.
because you're the only child. You're gonna, when, especially, I mean, this is down the road, but when one of your parents pass,
Mm-hmm.
the other one, you're probably gonna have a huge responsibility in some
Yeah.
fashion or form.
Yeah.
And just as they get older, you don't have another sibling to kind of help take the load. Because when my grandmother passed, my mom had four other siblings to help.
Mm.
When my grandfather-in-law passed in December, my mother-in-law had four other or three other siblings
Three other siblings.
to be there and support,
Yeah.
etc. But for you, it's going to be a little bit more difficult.
I know. So I'm banking on my parents' churches to like kind of step in.
But it sounds like your parents were
Support them.
very intentional, making sure that, like you said earlier, that they didn't want to burden you, especially if you do, Lord willing, get married. Then you might be very, because the Korean tradition is that you have to really take good care of your in-laws, being the daughter-in-law, right? Isn't there like an expectation in that?
Not anymore.
Oh, not anymore.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's more like, let's take care of our own parents. So I'll like take care of my mom. You take care of your mom. Like, kind of.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
My wife, one of her aunts, it was more the old-fashioned way, so she took a really good care of her in-laws. They've both since passed, but she was a really integral part of that process.
Wow.
But I guess it's not going to be the same with you.
No.
Even if you don't marry a Korean person, definitely won't be the same.
Yeah. And even if I marry a Korean person, like, based on how my job's panning out, I most likely will not work in Korea. So we're always, unless our parents move with us to a different country, which they probably won't want to do once they retire, we're going to always kind of live separately. So I was just kind of curious, like, how you handled that shift. But
I think that's the advantage of being the youngest.
yeah, or having a lot of siblings.
Yeah, and having a lot of siblings. How about you on that end? Because, obviously you're moving out of Korea. We don't know how long you'll be away from Korea.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully not too long. But do you have an ideal in your mind? Like, okay, I'm going to move abroad, do my career. Do you have an idea that maybe, because you mentioned that retiring in Korea is nice, do you think you'll come back and retire?
Yeah.
Maybe
I think so.
even by the time you retire, your parents could still be alive, because you'll be in your mid-60s. They'll be in their
90s. I don't know.
But people live longer now. And even my grandfather-in-law passed when he was like 94.
Wow.
And my grandmother-in-law is like 88, 89.
Wow.
So, and they're from the older generation.
Mm-hmm.
So your parents, with modern medicine, and they could be alive and well.
Wow.
Anyways.
That just sounds like a really long time to live. My great grandma died when she was 94, I think 93, 94. But the last 10 years of her life, she was just lying down.
But they didn't have much to offer elderly people at the time to keep them.
No, she passed like 10 years ago.
Oh.
So
her quality of life wasn't good.
Yeah, her quality of life wasn't good, but she was too healthy to pass. So it was like that weird limbo, and all she could do was wait for people to come see her. So I think from that perspective, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want my parents to live that long where they're not able to walk around. But then again, my great grandma wasn't Christian. So maybe it's different if you are part of a church community and you're like, even if your kids don't come see you, you have a regular group to like interact with, and you're praying and reading the Bible, and you're like, you have things to keep yourself busy.
Yeah, you have community.
Yeah.
Because for your grandmother, you said your grandmother?
Great grandmother.
Your great grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
So your mom's grandma.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. The fact that she lingered on for 10 years without much community.
Yeah.
It's kind of impressive but sad at the same time.
I know.
Oh man, because I read an article like a couple weeks ago that community is one of, and this wasn't even a Christian article. They're like, if you want to stay alive and well and you're elderly, just be connected to community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And actually, it applies to every generation. But
Yeah.
okay.
So maybe it'll be different for my parents. And I'm kind of banking on that because I most likely will not be working in Korea. Like if I'm an international teacher, it's disadvantageous for me to work in Korea, actually. And
If you're still international, because you are going into international teaching.
yeah.
So
it's only advantageous if I move to a different country. And if I pursue that career path, I'm most likely not living in Korea for the most of my parents' retirement. So I'm kind of hoping that their church will be that family for them and they'll find.
Sounds like they're pretty supportive of you. I mean, in the sense that they want the best for your future, your career. They've got each other right now. They've got community.
Mm-hmm. They're pretty
that's a
happy.
Good scenario for you.
Yeah, they're pretty happy in Korea. Like, it's pretty convenient. But I do think, I don't know how to say this. Maybe it's toxic masculinity. Maybe it's just how men are socialized. But my dad doesn't have as many friends as my mom does. So now that he's retired, I think he does feel that gap much more than my mom because he doesn't have his coworkers. They're all back in China. He doesn't have, like even with church people, he's not like talking to them like for 3 hours after church. He just goes to service and comes back home. So I do think post-retirement for a lot of Korean men, they do feel loneliness and they're not used to talking about their feelings of loneliness.
Okay.
Whereas my mom she has so many friends. She like still keeps in touch with her college friends, with her friends from the States. Like she's constantly calling people and she's like, hey, I have finals this week. Can we like reschedule to next week? And she like has a very robust social life. I don't know. Is it toxic masculinity? Is it just how men are socialized?
I guess that my thought process is like for guys, because there's like an inherent like, I don't know if you want to call it masculinity as much as it's self-reliance, like the typical,
self-sufficient.
Even for myself, especially being an introvert, I have to be very intentional with keeping connections, like say church right now for me, or I'm not the best friend in terms of past and current. We kind of talked about that in one of our previous episodes. So I think as the future unfolds, I'll probably fall into that same situation as your dad is in.
I hope not.
I mean, it's just my natural inclination. I just have to be very intentional not to. But I also don't get that lonely. I can entertain myself still, with my hobbies.
You still need community.
Yeah, I do need community.
Yeah.
But
you're not craving it.
Yeah, it's not something like, oh man, I wish I was connected, but I just don't know how to do it. If I want to do it, I know how to do it. It's just, do I want to do it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you ever felt guilty for not being physically present for your family? Especially as the future unfolds, is there a guilt, or do you feel like your parents gave you enough of a assurance that don't worry, Hannah, like just do you?
Yeah. Before my parents retired, when they were full-time missionaries and professors, I didn't feel guilty because they were busier than I was.
No, true. Yeah, probably.
And I always felt like I was second best. Like their ministry always came before me.
Oh, that's kind of the PKMK thing where they were devoting so much to their mission for God.
So they would spend Christmas with their church and I would stay home by myself.
진짜?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I was also being rebellious because I was like, I don't want to go to your church. but also like they never thought that Christmas was a family occasion.
Oh, maybe that's more of a Korean thing too, maybe? No?
I think if you're in ministry, it's kind of the default. Like
where you put the church and the ministry kind of first.
And your kids are obviously going to come to church. That's how that's what I've seen. But also I've only been to like Korean American, Korean churches.
Sure,
So
sure.
that's also sort of a bias. So yeah, up until like 3 years ago, I never felt guilty. But when they retired and they suddenly lacked a role in society, and they also moved countries, like they moved out of China, they went to the States, they had to start fresh. They were there for like 7 months, and then they
came back to Korea.
They came to Korea.
So their intention wasn't to come to Korea.
No, because it looked like I was gonna live in the States.
Oh,
yeah. So they were like, let's retire where Hannah's gonna be.
You might have mentioned this, maybe just slipped through my mind.
Yeah. So they were in Pennsylvania, where our sending church was. And I was in Boston, which isn't that far. You can drive, like it's like a 6-hour drive. So I would go for the holidays. And they were like, it was very weird for me to go somewhere for the holidays, because since I was 18, I just spent the holidays with whoever didn't have family. So we would make our own family, and we would do our own like Friendsgiving, like all that stuff. And suddenly they were like, so when are you coming? And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, aren't you coming for Thanksgiving? Aren't you coming for Christmas? Because they didn't have like a responsibility or a role anymore. Yeah. And that's when I started feeling a lot of guilt, or like responsibility plus guilt to be there for them. Or they've never done taxes. So they were like, help us with taxes. In the States, yeah. And then I was resuming, and then I kind of got PTSD because it felt like I was in first grade again, like translating for them at the bank. I felt really out of my element, and they were like, "Oh, help us sign up for Medicare." And I'm like, I've never done that. I don't know what that is. My school just gives me medical insurance. And I was like calling, and then they're like, "Oh, are you the person? Are you doing it on behalf of someone? Or are you the person?" And if you're not the actual person, they're like, "Oh, we need authorization." So we'd have to do a 3-way call. It was just like really messy and really like annoying. So now that I've seen that aspect of their life, like they're no longer busy, and like I've also lived with them in Korea for a year, and I see how much they're starting to rely on me. Now I feel like really guilty about moving to India. Okay. But at the same time, there's nothing here for me in terms of career. Like, love this podcast, love my church. But in terms of my career, there's not that much here for me.
You do have to make a living.
Yeah. And if I were to work at a certain international school, I would not save any money, because I would be paying for housing in Seoul, which is like insane. And I wouldn't even be able to see my parents that often, because we don't go to the same church. I would be living in Seoul. So like either way, I can't really be present for them. Okay. Yeah. So yes, I'm in a pickle.
But I think the whole understanding that even in the Bible where it says honor your father and mother, I think that we can honor them in a lot of ways, especially with the way that the world has grown smaller. We can't, I mean, most people never traveled out 20 miles outside of their own house. So we do live in a different time. So I think we're all just adapting to how we take care of our families as the future unfolds. Yeah.
Do you have any guilt?
I don't know if I'd call it guilt. I wasn't the best son when I was younger. Like I would go a couple months without talking to my mom. Wow. Also, long distance phone calls were expensive.
Back then it was harder. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when they came out with like nighttime free and weekend free on cell phones, then I'm like, oh, I guess I don't have any excuse now. But now I usually I talk to my mom once a week.
Oh, that's pretty frequent.
Yeah. Yeah. I make an effort.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I don't feel guilty, but I do try to be the best son in ways that I can be. Like do the IT support, like do different things for her that can bring her some joy. Bless you. But
thank you.
It is nice having the siblings there. Being there for them.
Maybe I should go find some older siblings. Oh.
Yeah. Or if you do get married, find out how many siblings they have. Because if they're an only child, then you're like, oh no, we're gonna have a lot of
A
we're gonna have a
lot of
lot of
parents.
responsibilities.
Yeah.
It's not so much guilt as I think it's just appreciating the time. Because my mom is older. She was older when she adopted me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't have as much time with her as the average person would have. So, because how old were your parents when they had you? Were they in their 30s, early 30s? So that's kind of
early mid 30s.
that's not too bad. Yeah, for me at least in my generation, my mom was older than most of my
Peers.
my peers. But these days, I just met someone at our church who started coming to our church, and he had his son when he was 47.
What?
Yeah.
That's so impressive.
Yeah. His wife is like 11 years younger than him.
That's still impressive.
But yeah, being
She's 36.
Yeah. But being 47 and having his first son, his first child, oh, he's going to be older, but I think there's benefits and disadvantages to being an older parent. But for the child, ideally, the child gets the parent longer. Because that was something that when we were trying to have children, I was always feeling a bit guilty. Oh, I'm not going to be there for them in the years that they would probably really like to reach out to their parent when they get into their 40s and 50s and like, how do I navigate through this in life? And I'm already passed away. So, yeah. But family, you know, what do you say? It's not a love-hate relationship, but I forgot that saying. But yeah, you can't, I guess we can't take our families for granted. And we just have to do the best we can to be good children to our family members. But yeah, family, you know, they are the family that we have. We have to do our best. And even being adopted, sometimes people will be like, well, how do you look at your adopted family? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, they're my family. They're the ones that raised me, love me. Just because we're not blood related doesn't mean they're not my family.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes adoptees do feel a disconnect. We're like, well, they're not really my family. But fortunately, I've never felt that way. Yeah, let us know, like, if you have any questions or any thoughts about your own family dynamics. Family is a little dicey topic because sometimes there's a lot of hurt that comes with family history. But hopefully we kind of scratched the surface of the dynamics of Korean families versus families from at least the United States. And we could have probably made this a lot longer, but yeah. Anyway, this is a good topic to talk about. We will see you in the next week.
Yeah.
Whatever episode that'll be.
Same time.
Yeah, take care, y'all. God bless. Peace.
Bye.